What's going on, everyone? I'm King Disfigure, also known as Nate, and welcome to today's Remembering Call of Duty video. First off, just want to say thank you so much for all the support I've been getting on the last videos. I appreciate it. These videos take a lot of work, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, Call of Duty has had hundreds of maps throughout the years. Some of them great, some horrible, and some were just forgettable. My job today is to go over those forgettable maps in every Call of Duty that we seem to have forgotten about. Whether it was because it was uninspiring, or no one voted for it, and we really had to play it. For whatever the reason was, we're going to jump back a few years, starting with Call of Duty 4 and work our way up the Vanguard, and pick out the most forgettable maps from each of those games. I also feel like it's a little too early to list a map as forgettable in the past two Call of Duties, so Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 from the last 2 years will not be on this list. Also, I want to quickly mention that I will not be including any DLC maps in this list. We can make a video on them another day, but today we'll just include the launch maps. Kicking it off with Call of Duty 4, we have Block. If you never played this map, trust me, you weren't missing much. It was just basically a large map, large apartment buildings all over the place, and a small courtyard with plenty of vantage points throughout the tiny outdoor areas. And with very little room for close quarters combat, there wasn't anything very memorable about the map. Except those old out of map glitches where you climb on top of the roofs, like through the fire escape staircase. That was fun. But besides that, there wasn't anything very special or memorable about this map, at least in my opinion. Besides, I always got the boot when literally any other map came into the voting rotation. Next we have World at War. Now, I didn't get to play much of this game when I was younger, but doing some research, it seems like Upheaval was a fairly forgotten about map. It was actually a decent mid-sized map, but would rarely be thrown to the rotation. The map was divided into 5 main sectors and was covered in 2-story houses and had a railroad track with empty train cars, which was cool, I guess. West side of the map had a large building overlooking the center of the map, which provided great vantage for those camping in the middle flag in those game modes like War. On top of World at War not having the most memorable maps compared to other Call of Duties, it also didn't help that Upheaval never got any attention after World at War. Modern Warfare 2, Invasion. Now, it's kind of difficult to choose a forgotten map in a game whose maps were overall pretty solid all around, but we had to choose one, so we're going with Invasion. This map focused a lot of close range gunfights and followed your typical 3-lane design, but what this map is notorious for was its car bombing antics. On the middle left side of the map, you had 9 Humvees ready to be taken advantage of by sliding a little C4 under them and surprising the enemies with a big explosion. The map gives players a lot of close range gunfight opportunities and plenty of cover, but the colors and surroundings, they were just underwhelming. There are very few maps in Modern Warfare 2 that you would choose Invasion over. But like I said, it's hard to pick a forgettable map in a game whose maps were some of the best launch maps we've ever seen. And speaking of incredible launch maps, we have Hanoi from Black Ops 1. Again, another game with some incredible maps, but once again we have to choose one. I was on the fence between this and Crisis, but seeing how Crisis is widely known as one of the worst maps in the game, can't be that forgettable. Now, Hanoi is a medium-sized map with a small prison inside the center and a barricaded street along the outskirts. And being one of the maps that takes place at nighttime doesn't really help its case. It's really dark. And with it being so dark, it's hard to see enemies, aerial kill streaks, and equipment, leading players to prefer other brighter maps instead. This being said, the design of Hanoi really wasn't that bad. Like I said, it was medium sized, had a lot of close quarter gunfight opportunities, a long road giving snipers a chance to duel it out, cool Easter eggs riddled around the map, which I honestly wish Call of Duty did more nowadays. Modern Warfare 3, Downturn. Modern Warfare 3 didn't have many incredible original maps, but they sure gave us some forgettable ones. And one of the most forgettable, in my opinion, was Downturn. Fairly large sized map taking place in a war-torn downtown Manhattan. Downturn really had a lot going on, which isn't really a good thing in this case. Lots of demolished streets and blown up cars littering the road. It forced a lot of players to either run through the crumbling buildings or through the sewers on the ground, breaking up the combat and spreading the players too far out. In ground war or a larger lobby scenario, I'm sure this map would have played better, but for standard 6v6, I don't remember playing it often, mostly because it got outvoted by almost every other map in the game. Black Ops 2. Boy, we were really spoiled with how good the launch maps used to be. But one of BO2's least popular maps had to be Cargo. Taking place at a port in Singapore, this map had soldiers running around on top of shipment containers and gave us a lot of close quarter combat situations. It wasn't a horrible map at all in my opinion. I actually enjoyed running around this map quite a bit, but it lacked when being compared to its BO2 counterparts. This was also one of the maps with dynamic map elements, with containers in the middle of the map being raised and lowered continuously, obstructing the player's views. There was also an office building to the side of the map which overlooked the center, and if you got a friend to hold down that area and make yourself a fortress, you went for some good streaks. Call of Duty Ghost. This one was interesting. I want to go with Siege. I won't even lie, I completely forgot this map even existed. Siege was a decently sized map, as were many maps in COD Ghost, and it took place in an abandoned mining complex on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Though the map was larger, catered more toward assault rifles and submachine guns rather than snipers. There's a cave on the right side of the map that had a freight cart inside that you can move around, providing you plenty of cover to flank the enemy team. That's really the most memorable thing about this map, I'd say. CoD Ghost really struggled when it came to memorable maps, and this one is pretty much the most forgettable, I'd say. Advanced Warfare. Now we get into more outlandish maps. So I want to go with Biolab. There honestly weren't many forgettable maps in Advanced Warfare that I can remember. They all had very cool features to them. Biolab was a medium-sized map taking place in the Snow Atlas Laboratory, which was a pretty cool scenario. The lab was abandoned and had the players jetpack their way past human incubation rooms and active machinery trying to find the enemy. There were canisters of manicore gas being transported throughout the lab, which players could shoot at them and cause them to explode, making any player who walked through the gas take damage. There was also a cool gimmick where in domination matches, an aircraft carrier would come by and drop off a new building in the middle of the map with a minigun on top of it for anybody to use, as well as moving the B flag. So even though it wasn't a bad map at all, it was just one that got overshined by some other maps in the game. For Black Ops 3 we have Havoc. I personally was a big fan of Havoc, but compared to the other maps in the game, I feel like I never played it. A map surrounded by huge rock formations and only 2 main buildings to fight in really had nothing special about it. There was a bit of water off to the back with the crashed airship which you could have swam in, which was cool I guess, but nothing memorable I'd say. But the map didn't really add much even when it came to the game's main gimmick, wall running. A couple spots here and there, but nothing that really made the map jump out or interesting at all really. Next up, Scorch from Infinite Warfare. You guys have any memories on this map? Yeah, neither do I. It took place on a hot mining facility on the face of an asteroid. It sounds awesome! But when it came to playing the map, it was a bit of a letdown. It was a mid to large size map, already a decent negative. The center area was always a good place to get lots of kills, but had little cover leaving you open to gunfire from pretty much every direction. 2 outer lanes were the way to go. Few close quarter engagements and a couple wall running spots to get the jump on the enemy. But at the end of the day, was it one of Infinite Warfare's better or more memorable maps? I don't really think it was. Now everybody's favorite map. Ain Aken, whatever. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, which doesn't help its case for being a very memorable map. This map was full of long-range engagements and a couple opportunities to flank the enemy, but at the end of the day, you were probably getting killed by a sniper sitting in the bus in the back of the map. These Call of Duty maps with bland and gray color palettes never really were memorable for me. And I get it, it's World War II, there was nothing colorful or bright about it, but at least give us something better than a camping simulator. There was a cool blown up library on one of the flanking routes, and that's about the only thing I can remember about this map. Black Ops 4, Gridlock. While researching this video, I didn't realize how many maps in BO4 I actually forgot about, but I did have to choose at least one, so Gridlock it is. It took place on a broken down highway in Japan with jammed up traffic caused by an apparent bank heist gone wrong. Yeah, I had no clue either, but that's what the map description said. I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but there used to be a glitch that would put you inside one of the vending machines in the back of the map and made you invisible, while also still allowing you to kill people. That's honestly the most memorable thing from this map. And oh yeah, that bamboo courtyard on the right side of the map was pretty cool. Modern Warfare 2019, Arklov Peak. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I never played this map back in this game's prime. Probably because I only played Shipment and Shoot House, but even before those 24/7 playlists were a thing, this map hardly ever made it into the rotation. It took place in a small town by the countryside with a bunch of military equipment and vehicles scattered throughout the area. The 2 houses in the center offered a vantage point for players using any long-range weapons, and there used to be some small corridors for close quarters. But it felt like more of a huge map with everyone holding down the corners. But that's also every map in Modern Warfare, so I can't really hate it that much. Black Ops Cold War, Garrison. Now to some people this map is probably not too forgettable, but to me it kinda was. The main reason I remember this is because this map got leaked pretty early in development, and since the launch of Cold War, I've probably played it about 15 times. It was a medium-sized map with pretty decent flow, and the map was pretty symmetrical all around, but pretty much all the fighting happened in the center with a lot of close quarter engagements. However, you take the vents around the map to get the jump on the enemy, and take them out without them even noticing you were there. Overall, Garrison was a solid map, but with only 8 maps at launch, this was the most forgettable for me. Now our final submission on this list, Red Star from Vanguard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I seriously don't remember playing this map once. Granted, I have very little playtime on Vanguard, but I seriously do not remember this map. It was one of Vanguard's largest maps and also a snowy map, which I don't really think helped its case. Most of the action focused in the central courtyard, and the map flow forced you to be on your toes and keep your head on a swivel. In order to do well on this map, you'll want to use a medium to long range weapon since this was a fairly large map. However, the inside of the office buildings around the map provided great use for shotguns and SMGs. And there we have it, that is every Call of Duty's most forgettable map from COD 4 to Vanguard. I know to some of you, your favorite map might be in here, and if that's the case, let me know. But with that being said, I've been Nate, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.